Thank you so much. My name is Andres Cimental. I work in the mission office. I'm posted in Mexico City. And the work I do is to, with our teams, is to invite the Qualfon family to know the mission of the company and the core values of the company. This is what the mission office does in all sides. And through different programs and activities, we are inviting employees to get engaged, to know the mission, to live accordingly, to know the core values, and to live also accordingly, not only here at work, but also in our families, our communities, etc. I am working with Rosia, by the way. We are members of the same team, the mission office team. And today I want to introduce George. George is helping Qualfon since some years back to implement chaplaincy programs in Qualfon, in our sites. George was with us in the Philippines, where we have more than 7,000 employees in Qualfon. We also implemented chaplaincy programs in Guyana, in Mexico. Last year, we were in North Idaho and Washington, Qualfon there. And today we are just here in Fort Collins to implement it. So George will explain what the chaplaincy program is all about. Thank you so much.
Place care, and we've been working with Qualfon for quite a while to implement the chaplaincy program, the workplace care program for Qualfon. So I'm here to disarm you and to talk to you about what it is and what it is not. When you hear the word chaplain, sometimes that creates a little anxiety, and well, I'm here to tell you that it shouldn't. You are not guinea pigs. We are not performing an experiment on you. Chaplaincy, in fact, has been around a long time. It's been around about 30 years for workplace, and a lot longer than that for just general chaplaincy. Some of you probably know about hospital chaplaincy. Some probably know about military chaplaincy. Well, workplace chaplaincy and workplace care came out of military chaplaincy. There was a fellow that was in the military, observed that military chaplains really did a great job diffusing stress, talking about problems, being in the tents and being in the trenches with the soldiers. So when he got out of the military, he said, why not in the workplace? Why will that not work in the workplace? And in fact, it does. So companies all across America and all across the world are implementing these programs of workplace care and chaplaincy. So you're not guinea pigs. It's not new. It is rare. Qualfon is one of those rare companies that will do this. Why? Because it is unusual. They pay for this benefit. The employee is an employee benefit, and the employees do not have to pay for it. So it is rare. Many companies will not do it just because it costs, and it is truly an employee benefit for you. Qualfon, I know their mission well. I've been working with them for almost 5 years now, and making people's lives better is we're putting boots to the street, so to speak. This is one part of them doing that. So the chaplaincy program has a couple of components that I want to talk about. First, what is it? It is a program of care. Train guys like Mark. Mark McCormick is your chaplain. Will be your chaplain starting Monday. We come alongside these guys and train them to be in the workplace. The criteria for hiring a chaplain is very strict. As we know in the BPO industry and in business in general, turnover is expected. It happens, unfortunately. In this chaplain business, in workplace care, it's not good. To have turnover is not a good thing, because we build relationships, we build trust, we invest in lives. So we spend a lot of time and many resumes looking for this person. We are looking for someone that has 5 to 7 years or more in workplace experience in the workplace. They have to have a job or many jobs in the workplace so that they know how business works. That it's just not about coming into and sitting in an office. You've got to move around and know what business is about. Secondly, because of the hospital chaplaincy model and the workplace and the military chaplaincy model, we find that pastoral care model is a good model. So we look for someone who has a degree, bachelor's or master's degree in pastoral care or Bible study care, And that gives them the complement of caring skills to listen and to be with employees in a time of crisis. So, how does it work practically? So what we do is we train these guys to be in the workplace. We train them to what we call make rounds. The first component of chaplaincy and workplace care is to make rounds. And then what that looks like is he will start Monday. He will be armed with a business card with his name, phone number, email, and he will go around all the building in different areas, and he will just walk around. I like to say we're loiterers. We are professional loiterers. That's what we do. We kind of hang around. It is a little bit uncomfortable for him and for employees at first, because we don't find that anybody's kind of walking around just kind of talking. But that's what we do. We walk around, try to meet you, try to learn your names. I know there's 700 plus people. It's very difficult, so give him grace and give him time. It does take a while. Learn something about you, significant facts, whether you're a Broncos fan or not. We had an Oakland Raider fan in here earlier. It's like, where did he come from? Yeah, from Wisconsin. Weird. So, but anyway, just building a relationship. The cool thing about the program is that it's by permission. Not only do you not have to pay for this program, but it is by permission. You don't have to use the program. It's totally up to you. We know that many people will find the chaplaincy program weird, and walking around trying to find something out about me is weird. So permission is key. Permission is key. So as he's making rounds, you don't have to talk to him. You can do this. You do that. Slam the door. You have a door. Turn your back. Whatever you want to do, you do not have to talk to him. It won't hurt his feelings. We expect a certain amount of people do not want to talk to him until they see the program in action and see what it really is. So secondly, everything you share with him is confidential. Everything you share with him is confidential. What we know is that people's lives at work are it's difficult. Life is difficult. We know, and we tell people to leave work at work. When you go home, leave work at work, go home. You've got enough to deal with at home, so leave your work problems here. What we do know and experience is, over years of doing this, is that work problems may be left at home, but home problems come to work, because you spend more time at work than you do at home. And the people you see at work, you see more than many times you see people at your home. So your friends, your coworkers, the problems that we have in life, sometimes we need to express them, and we don't have an outlet. So what we find is that when you're going through a grieving situation, illness, death, divorce, sickness, you name it, financial issues, emotional issues, people go through drug addictions, people go through sexual orientation problems. I mean, it is, the road is wide as to what problems that we have in our life. Peaks and valleys, what we call storms of life that we are in, are big, and everybody goes through them. What we know is that right now, 1 out of 7 of us are going through a life crisis, or will go through, or have been through a life crisis, or someone that we know and really close to us is going through or a life crisis, and that affects us. Someone we know that's going through a life crisis will affect us emotionally or physically. So what we attempt to do with this program is to make rounds, get to know you a little bit, be a person that will, in confidence, talk with you about what you're going through, if you need to. Permission, if you need to and if you want to. Everything is confidential. We can't tell your supervisor. We can't tell anyone what we learn. We are not qualified employees. We are not part of management. We are not part of HT. We do not have access to your personnel file. We are independent, and everything is confidential. If the supervisor wants to know, hey, I saw you talking to this person, are they okay? I can't talk about that. We do not disclose anything about what we talk about. We don't hardly even acknowledge that we talk to someone. That's just the way it has to work. It has to work that way, because you will be able to tell this person, and we hear everything, everything. It's a great venue for nobody that you can tell in your life probably anything about your life or about yourself that won't hold it against you or debate you about it. We have no vested interest in it except for care and helping you through whatever you're helping through. And listen, most people just need someone to talk to. So permission-based confidentiality. The confidentiality could be breached in a couple of situations, and I want to just talk to you about those. One is if the employee displays behavior that they are going to commit suicide or harm themselves. That's a serious matter. We see it, unfortunately, and we have to talk to the employee and then talk to management and talk to the authorities. That's serious, if it's an imminent threat. Secondly, if when we're talking with you, we observe that you're going to harm someone else. You don't get a raise and you want to punch out your supervisor, whatever, that's a problem. And we need to talk to someone else about that. That's a breach of confidentiality. We have to do that. Thirdly, if we observe that there's sexual harassment or bullying in the workplace, that's against the law, and that's a problem, and we have to breach confidentiality. And lastly, if we observe that there are evidences of child abuse or child molestation in the workplace or at home, then that's a problem. And it's a social services and a law matter, and we have to breach confidentiality. In all other cases, we hold it confidential. Permission, confidentiality. Now, as I said, the rounds are daily. He's going to be here. We're going to have a spot for him. We're looking at an office that will be not in the open, but not so secluded that people feel uncomfortable going there. It's a tricky issue. We don't want to be out in the open because people feel, I don't want people to know that I'm going to see the chaplain sometimes or talk to them. So we will find that place before next week. He will have business cards, and that's how you communicate with him. When we are making rounds and you want to talk to the chaplain about something that is more extended, you have an issue, we make a time with the chaplain off the phones, off your work time. It can be at work, but it may be a break, it may be on green time, it might be when you first get here or right after you leave. It could be at the Starbucks down the street, but those are called care sessions. There's rounds and then there's care sessions. Care sessions are extended talks, 15 minutes to an hour with the chaplain, usually scheduled, and they're also confidential. And that's where we really, really get down to making a plan for what might be an issue in your lives. Fair enough? Mm-hmm. Okay. What the chaplain doesn't do, or can't do, okay, these are probably obvious too. He can't get you out of a speeding ticket. If you're out at night and you can't drive home because of some issue, he cannot pick you up. He won't pick you up. He can't do that. He can't get you out of jail. He can visit you in jail, but he can't get you out of jail. He can go to court with you and represent you as this person he's talked to at the office. He does not mediate, can't get you a salary increase. And we've seen that. He does not loan you money for your apartment down payment or your house down payment. He's not a bank, a financial institution. So you can't make your bills. He's not supposed to. We do not allow him to lend money. And believe me, chaplains desire to do that sometimes. Hey, we've heard it. Hey, there's just need a couple $100. Their pay period's coming up. We can't do that. It's just not a good thing. So anyway, those are the kind of things that we can't do. In every other case, though, we intently try to help the employee work through crisis. We know that our lives that hear what I'm saying do not like it because chaplain sounds religious, perhaps. Or why is the company spending money on that? That's a waste of money. They just don't like it. They may not like anything that the company does, but they don't like it. 10% hear chaplain and, well, maybe that's religious. Oh, we need something like that. I like it a lot. I'm going to use it right off the bat. 80% of you or the workforce is indifferent. I don't care. I'm not going to use it. They can do whatever they want to. They're the company. I don't care. But in reality, what happens is when we're making rounds through the company, one of you or one of the people out there in the company that has never talked to the chaplain and thinks it's a bad program will have a tough time, a tough phone call. Someone might be sick. They may experience death in their family. Whatever the case is, whatever the storm of life is, they emotionally are very upset. The chaplain walks by, they've never talked to the chaplain, they have seen the chaplain around talking to people, and it appears he's an okay guy. That day they'll talk to the chaplain. Why not? What could it hurt? I'm already hurting. chaplain will say, like he does every time you see him, "What's up, how you doing?" Normally you do that, normally you say no, turn your head. Today you say, "I'm not so good." And then he will say, with permission, "Would you like to talk about it?" And then we'll go, have a care session, and he will walk you through the crisis as best he can. He's trained to deal with emotional issues and physical issues. And again, it's addiction issues, you name it, we've seen it. And he'll walk you through that crisis in a non-judgmental way. And we do not push religion on people. That's the other thing. People think chaplain sounds religious. It is not a program of religiosity. We do not push religion on people. That is not our job. Our job is to care. And he will just walk you through the crisis in a non-judgmental way and move you into hopefully a better place. Listening. 2 ears, 1 mouth. So you will then see it's not what I thought, or I was a detractor. It's not what I thought. And you will tell everybody and all your friends that he's okay, and he really helped me. And word of mouth, the viral part of this thing will spread, and then people will start to use it, and in 6 to 9 months, 70 to 80% of the workforce will be using the service. So it is not in replacement for counseling. If we need counseling, and if there is heavy issues with drug addictions, alcohol, marriage, relationship issues that go beyond a care session, we may need to go to counseling. We are not counselors, but the company has, we have a list of counselors. They're in-network counselors that we will know and we will refer you into if that's the case, but we are not counselors, we're caregivers. So, as I said, Mark is your guy. This is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week service. Sounds crazy, huh? It's like Visa. It's like your Visa people. They're there all the time. And it has to be that way, because when you have an emergency, you need help. And he will be there to get that call. We have had calls of suicide attempts at 2 o'clock in the morning where we have had to walk people off the ledge and save lives. And the next morning start repairing what relationships that were broken. So it is a necessary thing. It sounds like he might get overwhelmed with the people that we have here, but in fact, people don't necessarily, they're mindful that they only use 24-hour service when you really, really, really need it. As I tell people right here in Fort Collins, when Peyton Manning decides to retire, that is not a cause for calling his chaplain at 2 o'clock in the morning, no matter how upset you might be. But you know what those issues are, and you'll feel it, and we'll be available 24/7. You'll have the business card, you'll have his number. You can text him or email him if you need a care session, or just grab him. So Mark, why don't you introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm Mark McCormick, and I've got a background in hospital chaplaincy, long-term care facility chaplaincy as well. So this is my first foray into corporate chaplaincy, and really looking forward to helping out the folks here with care sessions, and just walking with people through the, like George says, through the storms of life, and helping them out however I can. I live in Brighton right now, but my wife and I will be moving closer, trying to balance home life and work life because I have grandkids in Brighton. I'd like to be close to them too.
So we're excited about bringing Mark on board. It is and will take a little while for you to get used to it. It's not something, and we know that, it's not something you've ever seen before. So